everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina, and today we're talking about something that I think is often very misunderstood, and it's also one of the most frequently asked questions that I get in the comments section, and that is what the difference is between clutter, hoarding, and hoarding disorder. And I think that knowing which one of these things that we struggle with personally is important because they are all addressed in different ways. Please remember, however, that this video is for educational purposes only. It's not meant to replace a diagnosis of any kind. It's simply meant to provide a basic understanding of what makes these issues distinct. So let's go ahead and start with clutter. Now, clutter is something that pretty much all of us experience from time to time. It's the accumulation of everyday items in our home that tend to pile up, whether it be the mail on our countertops or a bunch of clothes on a chair or buckets of toys scattered across our living room floor. Clutter can be a significant source of stress and frustration, but it's generally manageable through education, organization, and effort. So even though we may feel overwhelmed or embarrassed when our home is cluttered, for the most part, we are still able to function in our daily lives. Next, we have hoarding. Now, hoarding goes beyond the occasional messy room or untidy desk. It's a more serious condition that is characterized by the excessive accumulation of belongings that does affect both our living space and our ability to function in everyday life. People with hoarding tendencies may have great difficulty discarding or even parting with items even when they are unusable, broken, or have no sentimental value. They may also attach strong emotional significance to the items, making it even more difficult to let go. Now, hoarding tendencies can be a little bit more challenging to address, but through awareness and through working to change our thought patterns and our habits, we can often effectively change this behavior. It's also important to note that it is entirely possible to exhibit hoarding behaviors without actually having hoarding disorder, which we'll be talking about next. After I give the overview, I will go ahead and discuss the differences between the two. But let's go ahead and start by understanding the disorder first. So hoarding disorder is a recognized mental health condition that affects about 2 to 6% of the population, and it should be diagnosed and treated by a mental health professional. It's not simply a matter of being disorganized or messy. It's a complex condition that has underlying psychological factors. People with hoarding disorder may struggle with anxiety, depression, or trauma, which can contribute to their difficulty with letting items go. In some cases, they can also have obsessive compulsive disorder, which can manifest as excessive collecting or as extremely strong attachments to their possessions. Now, this condition can have a devastating effect on both our life and our homes if it's left untreated. Our homes can become so filled with clutter that it's impossible to use them for their intended purpose. Fire hazards, hygiene issues, and even infestation can become serious concerns. It can also affect a person's ability to maintain their relationships or their employment or be able to take care of their personal needs. The constant stress and anxiety that's associated with this disorder takes a huge toll on both mental and physical health. I want to make perfectly clear, however, that people with this disorder are not lazy or irresponsible. They are genuinely struggling with a complex condition that is beyond their control, which is why getting treatment is so important. Therapy can help individuals with this disorder to understand the underlying causes of their hoarding behaviors, help them find coping mechanisms that manage their symptoms, and also guide them through the recovery process. So now that we have a basic understanding of these three different issues, I want to go ahead and talk about the key distinctions specifically between hoarding and hoarding disorder. The first is severity. Hoarding behaviors without hoarding disorder are generally less severe and less disruptive to daily life. It doesn't mean that there aren't negative consequences, but they aren't nearly as detrimental. The second is the impact on functioning. Hoarding behaviors without hoarding disorder typically do not cause significant impairment in a person's ability to maintain their relationships or their employment, or in their ability to take care of their own personal needs. They certainly can affect these things, but it is usually still possible to maintain healthy relationships, our work status, and to use at least most of the rooms in our home for their intended purpose. Whereas when we're talking about hoarding disorder, this is going to be a lot less likely. The third difference can be underlying causes. Now, everyone is different, but hoarding behaviors without hoarding disorder is more likely to be influenced by lifestyle factors, mindsets, and emotional attachments, while hoarding disorder is generally more strongly associated with psychological factors like anxiety, depression, or trauma. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that psychological factors don't play a role in hoarding tendencies or even clutter for that matter. They absolutely can. But the difference is that when we're talking about hoarding disorder, we see that psychological factors tend to be the primary cause. Now, we may find that environmental or genetic factors can contribute, but usually we see that those psychological factors are the most significant. So if you are concerned with your own hoarding tendencies or those of someone you know or love, it can be an important step to seek professional guidance. A mental health professional can assess what's going on and determine whether or not there is an underlying psychological condition that does require treatment. And if that is not the case, but hoarding tendencies or clutter is something that you want to begin to address in your life, I do have a full playlist that I will go ahead and link down in the description box that has about 40 videos designed to help you on that journey, so you will have that resource. I also want you to know that no matter which one of these issues you struggle with, you are not alone, and you're also not your clutter or your hoarding. You are a person that is deserving of love and respect and a life that is free of chaos and clutter, and please know that this change is absolutely possible. As always, I truly hope that you found today's video to be helpful and insightful. If you did, please like it, share it, and definitely become a subscriber if you weren't one already. I would love it if you stayed connected. I want to thank you so much for investing in yourself today, and I will see you next week.